one's 18 core. Pretty good. Sorry for that break. I just got a notification that I was running out of space. Okay, not to worry. Anyway, where was I? This one's 18 core. I suspect a lot of people will be asking me, why did I go for an Intel? Why didn't I go for the latest AMD, the 24 core version? Yeah, it's an impressive chip, but it was about £1,260, whereas this was about 940. So a big difference in price here in the UK. And then, of course, you've got to look for the right motherboard. And the right motherboard, the one I wanted with the right features, was around £800. So, yeah, another £240 more for a different motherboard. Yeah, I accept that it's got incredibly fast storage and, you know, these wonderful things with the latest version of PCI Express. But that's still a big expense, and for the time being, maybe my next build, in fact I'm pretty certain my next build will be an AMD, but this seemed to fit the bill. I'm not a heavy gamer, but I do like the flight simulators. I also do some CAD work, but the main reason I went for this one and so much memory was for my recording studio. So, you can't see a great deal on this particular video showing the fault. I did do some very short recordings on a rather poor quality camera video, and yeah, it's not very clear. You'll see a couple of other videos which are about a minute or so long, focusing in on this optical LED, and for whatever reason it's not working properly. I suspect there's a poor connection, because having a look around the side here with an endoscope, and there wasn't much point in me showing the footage from that because it's really too low res, but the two cables which run to that unit, that OLED unit, and the connectors are on the motherboard more or less underneath this metal armor. And I could see from putting the endoscope in there that the cabling isn't particularly neat. Part of it looks to be pressing on one of the chips, which isn't good. Another bit seems to be kind of squashed underneath the body. Yeah, it could be that. It could be a loose connection. I noticed when I tapped it, it did change. But if you look at the short videos, you'll see it's just orange-red color. It's not full color or anything like that. And a large number of the pixels just aren't displaying anything. So, yep, as I say, this is an odd order to show as a video, my first proper video, but when I get the replacement board, I will do a better version and I'll show you how the build process goes. Again, it will be built on this test rig initially, check everything's working. I should say the other massive problem, and probably the bigger reason I'm sending this back, was when it was first booted up, it wouldn't recognize any of the hard drives. So I had three old-fashioned, those kind of 5 or 6 year old Western Digital Velociraptors, 1 terabyte, sorry, yeah, pull in 1 terabyte in size, 3 of those, and none of those were recognized in the BIOS. Really surprising. But even more surprising, as you can see, there's a Samsung 850 Pro there, solid state drive, much more recent and quite expensive actually. That particular model, when I bought that a couple of years back, couldn't see that either in the BIOS. So I couldn't load Windows, couldn't do a thing. I had no hard drives. The one thing it did see, that's really surprising, it actually found that. So that LG Blu-ray drive was picked up, no issues. Now obviously I'd read the manual in detail before connecting anything and before booting it up. I went through the BIOS line by line, couldn't see any strange settings. And then I took another look at the motherboard to make certain nothing was shorting. Got really paranoid then. I could see on the voltage monitor within the BIOS that there were no issues, but nevertheless, I disconnected what few things were connected to the motherboard, checked around it, used the high-powered torch, disconnected all the power lines, checked the the output voltage, nothing unusual there. There just wasn't enough connected to the motherboard to have actually caused a problem, and everything, I say, has been tried and tested. So this particular testbed has been used for, in this particular version, I think it must be 5, maybe 6 years. I had a more basic version prior to that, but building on a testbed is probably the safest and best way to do things, and it's pretty much what I've been doing for the last decade. So I will leave this video at this point and get back to you when I've got a replacement.